There is a reason you were chosen to see this before the shift. You may not feel chosen. You may not feel ready. You may even feel like everything in your life is hanging in the air without direction or solidity. But that sensation is the first sign that you have entered the threshold of a major energetic transition. The universe does not speak through coincidences. It speaks through timing. It arranges events, impulses, emotions, and encounters with a precision far greater than the human mind can comprehend. You did not arrive here by accident. You were guided. Something in your energy has been building quietly over the past weeks or months. Something subtle but powerful enough to shift your entire trajectory once it reaches its peak. And the universe needed you to receive this message before that moment arrives. The shift is not an event happening outside you. It is something unfolding within your consciousness. It is the moment when your inner frequency becomes incompatible with your old reality. You may have already felt traces of it. An unexplained restlessness, a sudden discomfort in places where you once felt grounded, a fading interest in things that used to define you, a strange sense that something is coming even though nothing external has changed. These experiences are not signs of instability, they are signs of activation. Your energy has been adjusting itself to match a new timeline and a new identity that your future self has already stepped into. And before that shift fully anchors, the universe ensures you receive the awareness to integrate it rather than resist it. That is why you are here now. You have reached the moment where awareness becomes essential. Without awareness, the shift would feel like chaos. With awareness, it becomes transformation. You may not feel prepared for what is rising, but your energy has been preparing long before your mind caught up. The universe chose you to see this because your consciousness is expanding beyond the version of you who lived purely through habit and survival. You are entering a stage where alignment, intuition, and higher perception begin guiding your choices more than logic or fear. This transition requires a different level of clarity. You are being positioned to experience the shift as a return to yourself instead of a loss of stability. And the moment you feel the truth in these words, even if only faintly, the activation begins. It begins not with fireworks, but with recognition. Something inside you knows you were meant to hear this, not because the message is dramatic, but because the timing is perfect. The universe aligns messages with readiness, not desire, and readiness is exactly what you are stepping into. This is why the universe chose you to see this now, before the shift becomes visible in your physical reality. Awareness is the doorway, and you just walked through it. When you are chosen to receive a message before a shift, it means that your internal frequency has already crossed a threshold, even if your external circumstances appear unchanged. The universe always makes energetic adjustments long before you see their effects in your physical world. This timing is deliberate. It prevents you from interpreting the shift as chaos and allows you to interpret it as alignment. You may be feeling an inner pull that you cannot explain. You may feel your emotions becoming sharper, more revealing, more difficult to suppress. You may feel old patterns resurfacing only to dissolve more quickly than before. These sensations are evidence that your old energetic structure is weakening. The beliefs, identities, and emotional patterns that supported your past timeline cannot hold the vibration you are stepping into. So they begin to erode. They begin to loosen. They begin to fall away quietly, even when you try to hold on to them. This erosion feels like lostness, uncertainty, or disconnection to the mind. But to the soul, it feels like preparation. The universe does not remove what you need. It removes what you have outgrown. And every time you feel something slipping away, it is because the universe is making space for the version of you that is approaching. When you feel chosen, it is not because the universe favors you. It is because you are aligned with a frequency that demands evolution. You are not being rewarded. You are being activated. That activation shows up in the shifts in your perception. You begin to see through illusions that once shaped your behavior. You begin to sense the misalignment in situations you once tolerated. You begin to hear your intuition more clearly, as if someone turned up the volume on an inner voice you did not know you had. These changes are not random. They are orchestrated. Your future self is already living in the timeline you are about to enter, and the universe is synchronizing you with that version of yourself. This synchronization requires you to become aware of the shift before it arrives, so you can move with it rather than resist it. You were chosen to see this now because the shift is close enough to touch your present energy, but not yet visible in your outer life. The universe wanted you to understand before you witnessed, to align before you acted, to recognize the signs before they intensified. Feeling chosen is the recognition of this alignment. Feeling pulled is the confirmation. Feeling the truth in these words is the activation. The shift is not coming toward you. You are rising toward it, and the universe is ensuring that you enter this transition with awareness rather than confusion. This is why this message arrived before the shift. Because you are ready to receive it. There is a moment in every spiritual transition where you begin to sense that something within you is shifting faster than you can understand. It is not dramatic. It does not announce itself with clarity. It arrives quietly, like a subtle change in the air, a new vibration in your chest, a restlessness that does not have a name. You may have felt this recently, as if a deeper part of you is waking up and stretching after years of being dormant. This awakening is not accidental. It is the early movement of the shift the universe is preparing you for. When your energy begins rising toward a new timeline, your inner world becomes more sensitive. You start noticing things you once overlooked. You feel emotions more intensely, not because something is wrong, but because your system is clearing out the heaviness that cannot travel with you. Old fears return briefly, not to punish you, but to release their last grip on your identity. Memories surface, not to haunt you, but to dissolve. You may feel a strange tension inside you, as if two versions of yourself are overlapping for a moment. One is the self you used to be. The other is the self you are becoming. The universe chose you to see this message now because you are standing in the overlap. You are no longer fully attached to your past, but you have not yet stepped into your future. This creates a feeling of imbalance that the mind interprets as confusion, but the spirit recognizes as transformation. The shift you are approaching will not be subtle. It will not be something you can easily ignore or minimize. It will be a reorientation of your inner compass, a full recalibration of your perspective. But before that happens, the universe gives you small previews, small cracks in the old reality where the new one begins to shine through. A sudden sense of clarity in the middle of chaos. A moment of deep inner peace where everything felt heavy before. A realization that rises out of nowhere, revealing something you had been unable to see for years. These glimpses are not random. They are signals. They tell you that the shift is already forming in your field. And once a new reality begins forming energetically, the physical world must eventually reflect it. This is why the universe brought you here before the shift completes. If you entered this transition without awareness, you would interpret the dismantling of old structures as a collapse. But with awareness, you see it for what it truly is: preparation. Every emotion rising now is preparation. Every ending happening now is preparation. Every intuitive nudge growing louder inside you is preparation. You cannot stop the shift because it has already begun. The universe is simply giving you the gift of consciousness before the transformation becomes visible. And that awareness will allow you to move through it with grace instead of fear, with trust instead of resistance. You are not simply being prepared, you are being aligned. As the shift approaches, one of the strongest symptoms you will feel is the collapse of the old timeline within you. This collapse does not happen dramatically, it happens through subtle detachment. You begin losing emotional resonance with things that once mattered deeply. You start feeling disconnected from routines, environments, and relationships that once gave you stability. You may not even fully understand why certain things feel heavy now. They simply do. This heaviness is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that your old identity is losing its structure. Every time you feel resistance toward something familiar, it is because that part of your life cannot align with the vibration you are moving toward. The universe does not let you stay where your soul is no longer growing, so it begins removing your attachments to the old timeline, not by force but by dissolving your internal connection to it. This inner loss of resonance can be unsettling, because the mind desperately tries to hold on to what feels familiar, even when it no longer fits. The universe chose you to see this message now, so you would understand that the discomfort you feel is not regression but recalibration. You are shedding an identity that can no longer hold your expansion, and with every layer that falls away, your future timeline becomes more accessible. You may feel yourself becoming quieter, more introspective, more observant. You may feel your intuition sharpening, your emotional sensitivity increasing, your patience for anything artificial decreasing. These are not mood swings, they are upgrades. Your inner world is rising to a higher frequency, and anything built from fear, scarcity, people-pleasing, or survival instinct cannot survive that elevation. So it falls away. And as it falls away, you enter a temporary void. This void is the space where the old energy has left, but the new energy has not yet fully anchored. The void can feel uncomfortable, isolating, or confusing because nothing seems to match your internal state. But this void is the sacred space before the shift. It is where your spirit resets itself. It is where your intuition takes full leadership. It is where your future self begins speaking louder than your past. You may feel this as a deeper inner voice emerging, one that does not panic, one that does not beg for certainty, one that simply knows. That knowing is the vibration of your next timeline calling you forward. This is why the universe delivered this message before the shift, because once the shift becomes visible, you will recognize it instead of resisting it. You will trust the pull. You will surrender to the unfolding. You will follow the path your future self has prepared. The collapse of the old is not the end. It is the opening. It is the doorway the universe aligns for those who are ready, and you are ready. As the old timeline continues to dissolve, something remarkable begins to happen beneath your awareness. Your intuition, which once felt like a faint whisper, begins to rise with increasing clarity and strength. It is not shouting, it is not demanding, it is simply becoming undeniable. You may sense it in the moments where your body responds to truth before your mind does. A soft expansion in your chest when something is aligned, a subtle contraction in your gut when something is not. These sensations are not random biological reactions. They are your energetic compass activating. When the universe prepares you for a shift, your intuition becomes the primary form of navigation because the mind is too limited to understand what is unfolding. Your intuition speaks the language of your future self. It perceives potential before evidence. It feels alignment before logic. It knows truth even when nothing external confirms it. And now, as the shift approaches, this intuitive intelligence is strengthening. You may notice yourself recognizing patterns you could not see before. You may suddenly understand why certain connections felt heavy or why certain opportunities never progressed. You may even feel a growing sense of honesty within yourself, a desire to stop pretending, stop shrinking, stop living according to expectations that no longer resonate with your expanding identity. This honesty is not rebellion. It is alignment. The universe chose you to receive this message now because honesty within yourself is the key that unlocks the next timeline. The shift that is coming will require you to trust yourself more deeply than you ever have. Not because the path will be difficult, but because it will be unfamiliar. Your future self has already walked this path. It already knows the way, and the universe is preparing you to hear its guidance without interference from fear, doubt, or external noise. As your intuition strengthens, old illusions begin to fall apart. You begin seeing through false stability. You begin recognizing the difference between comfort and alignment. You begin sensing the emotional weight of anything that keeps you anchored to a version of life you have outgrown. And even though this clarity may feel destabilizing, it is actually liberating. It frees you from the energetic contracts that once limited your growth. It frees you from people who cannot meet you at the frequency you are rising into. It frees you from narratives that kept you repeating the same patterns. You are entering a phase where your inner truth rises faster than your mind can rationalize it. This is the universe's way of guiding you into coherence before the shift anchors. Your future self is not guiding you towards something new. It is guiding you toward remembering who you truly are beneath the layers of conditioning. And the more you listen, the more the shift accelerates. You are not becoming someone different. You are returning to someone truer, someone clearer, someone ready. As the shift draws closer, you will begin to feel a subtle but powerful pull inside you, a gravitational movement towards something that your mind cannot fully comprehend yet. This pull does not originate from desire or ambition. It originates from alignment. It is the frequency of your future self reaching into your present moment, drawing you toward the timeline where you already exist in your next level of clarity and expansion. You may feel this pull as a sudden urge to change something meaningful in your life. You may wake up feeling like you need to reorganize your space, end a habit, release a connection, or make a decision you have been postponing. You may feel a deep inner prompting toward a direction that feels both unfamiliar and inevitable. This pull is not impulsive. It is encoded. It is the energetic signal that your next timeline is ready for you. When the universe prepares a person for a shift, it does not push them. It pulls them gently but decisively. That is what you are feeling. A quiet but undeniable magnetism guiding you toward the highest version of yourself. This pull can create tension inside you because part of you wants to lean into it, while another part wants to hold on to what is familiar. This inner conflict is not a sign that you are unprepared. It is a sign that you are standing exactly where transformation begins. One identity is fading, another is awakening, and your consciousness is learning to navigate the space between. You may experience moments where you feel torn between staying the same and becoming who you know you are destined to be. You may feel waves of clarity followed by waves of uncertainty. You may feel excitement intertwined with fear. These fluctuations are normal. They are symptoms of alignment, not confusion. The universe chose you to see this message before the shift, so you would recognize these sensations as guidance instead of resistance. The more you trust the pull, the easier the transition becomes. Your future self is not trying to force you. It is inviting you. It is leading you toward the experiences, opportunities, and transformations that will shape the next phase of your life. And the pull will continue to grow stronger until you can no longer pretend you do not feel it. You are being moved toward a timeline where you are more aligned, more truthful, more powerful, more awake. And the pull is the bridge. It is the confirmation that your old life cannot follow you into the new one, not because you are losing anything, but because you are rising beyond it. The shift is not coming, it is already in motion, and you are already being guided by the version of you that exists on the other side of it. As the pull of your future self strengthens, another profound shift begins to unfold within you. The unraveling of emotional patterns that once kept you anchored to your past timeline. These patterns are not just habits. They are energetic imprints, emotional signatures, memories encoded in your nervous system. They shape the way you responded to life, the way you interpreted situations, the way you protected yourself when you felt unsafe. And now, because your frequency is rising, these imprints can no longer remain intact. The universe does not allow emotional density to travel into higher timelines, so it begins surfacing the parts of you that need release. You may feel this as sudden emotional waves with no clear cause. You may find yourself revisiting old memories, not because you are regressing, but because you are clearing the energetic residue they left behind. You may notice triggers becoming sharper for a moment before dissolving, as if the universe is giving you one final opportunity to let go of what once weighed you down. This emotional unraveling can feel overwhelming because it forces you to confront the parts of yourself you tried to ignore, suppress, or rationalize away. But this confrontation is not punishment. It is purification. Every emotion rising now is leaving your system. Every tear, every frustration, every heavy feeling is being pushed out so you can carry less into your next timeline. You are not breaking down. You are clearing out. The universe chose you to receive this message now because without awareness, you might interpret this release as chaos. But with awareness, you can see it for what it truly is: freedom. You cannot enter the next phase of your life with the emotional armor you wore to survive your past. That armor protected you once, but now it restricts you. Your future self is calling you into a more open version of yourself, a version that leads from clarity, intuition, and truth, rather than from fear or protection. And to answer that call, you must allow the emotional layers to fall off. You may notice that forgiveness becomes easier, not because the past changes, but because its emotional weight dissolves. You may feel compassion rising in places where anger once lived. You may suddenly understand your old wounds from a higher perspective, seeing not just the pain, but the growth they brought you. This is what it feels like when your emotional frequency elevates. You begin to detach from the version of yourself that was shaped by pain, and you begin to embody the version shaped by awareness. This emotional shift is one of the clearest signs that the shift is near. Your inner world is making room for the identity you are stepping into. And everything falling away now is simply clearing the path for who you are becoming. You are not losing your emotional self. You are refining it. You are aligning with your next timeline. And the universe is preparing you to meet it fully awakened. Once the emotional layers begin to dissolve, you enter a phase that feels unlike anything you have experienced before. It is the phase of inner stillness. Not the stillness of quiet environments or external calm, but the stillness that arises when your internal noise begins to settle. This stillness is not something you create. It emerges naturally when your past emotional patterns no longer dominate your perception. It feels like spaciousness inside your mind, as if the thoughts that once rushed through you now move slower, softer, or not at all. You may find yourself sitting in silence without meaning to, simply because your inner world no longer demands constant distraction. You may feel less reactive, less triggered, less entangled in other people's emotional states. This stillness can feel strange at first, because emptiness is unfamiliar when you have spent years filling your inner world with worry, anticipation, analysis, or emotional tension. But this empty space is sacred. It is the canvas upon which your next timeline will be painted. It is where your intuition becomes clearer than ever before. It is where your inner guidance becomes unmistakable. In this stillness, you may begin sensing things you never noticed. A subtle direction in your gut when thinking about certain choices, a faint expansion when imagining possibilities that resonate with your future, a quiet resistance when you approach something not meant for you. These sensations are not random. They are the whispers of your future self moving through the silence. You are being guided through resonance, not thought, through feeling, not reasoning, through awareness, not effort. This stillness is also a protective space. The universe creates it so that external distractions cannot interfere with your alignment. You may notice yourself withdrawing from noise, chaos, and environments that drain your energy. You may feel the urge to spend more time alone, not out of loneliness, but because solitude feels like clarity. You may feel your priorities shifting, your patience thinning for the superficial, your longing increasing for what feels truthful and meaningful. These shifts are evidence that your energy is stabilizing. You are stepping into the vibrational state required for the shift to anchor fully. This stillness is not the end of movement. It is the preparation for it. It is the inhale before the transformation. It is the quiet before the timeline shift becomes visible in your physical reality. The universe chose you to see this message before the shift, so you would understand this stillness not as stagnation, but as alignment. You are not paused. You are being calibrated. You are not drifting. You are being positioned. You are not waiting. You are rising. And the stillness inside you is the first sign that the universe is preparing to reorganize your outer world to match the frequency you now carry. As your inner stillness strengthens, the universe begins weaving subtle alignments around you. These alignments do not appear as dramatic breakthroughs at first. They begin as small distortions in the old timeline, tiny cracks in your familiar reality where the energy of your next timeline leaks through. You may notice coincidences increasing, not the superficial kind, but the synchronistic type that lands with a sense of significance. You may hear certain phrases repeated by different people on the same day, as if the universe is using multiple voices to deliver the same message. You may see repeated numbers, recurring symbols, or patterns that seem to follow you, not randomly, but intentionally. These are the soft indicators that your inner frequency is beginning to alter the external field around you. The universe does not wait for you to reach perfect clarity before it rearranges your reality. It begins the rearrangement the moment your internal frequency becomes incompatible with your past. And because your inner world has shifted so profoundly, your outer world must respond. At first, the changes are subtle. People you never expected to distance themselves begin to fade from your reality. Opportunities that once seemed promising suddenly dissolve with no explanation. Plans you were certain about lose momentum. Paths you were pursuing fall apart without warning. This unraveling does not mean you are on the wrong path. It means you are no longer on the old one. The shift requires a clearing. Anything that cannot align with your next frequency is removed, sometimes gently, sometimes abruptly, but always with precision. You may feel this as confusion or loss if you interpret it through the lens of your past identity, but if you tune into the quiet space within you, you will realize it is not loss. It is reorientation. You are being redirected towards something that has not yet entered your awareness. As the external unraveling continues, you may also notice new connections forming. You may feel suddenly drawn to new interests, new environments, or new ideas that feel strangely familiar, even though they have never been part of your life. You may meet people who mirror the energy of the person you are becoming, rather than the person you once were. These moments of resonance are the universe placing markers along your path. They are confirmation that your new timeline is activating, and the closer you get to the shift, the more dense and frequent these moments become. You will begin to sense that life is communicating with you, not metaphorically but literally. The external synchronicities are simply the reflections of your internal alignment. When the universe prepares someone for a shift, it does not change everything instantly. It changes the subtle threads first, the background patterns, the invisible currents. These shifts, though small, are the first signs that your reality is beginning to reorganize itself around who you are becoming. And soon these small signs will lead to undeniable change. As the subtle signs accumulate, you begin to feel a deeper recognition rising inside you, a sense that the shift is no longer something approaching in the distance, but something happening within you now. This recognition is not intellectual. It arrives as a vibration, a physical sensation, a stirring in your chest or your solar plexus. It feels like something inside you is aligning into place, like puzzle pieces that once floated separately are finally connecting. This sense of inner alignment is one of the clearest indications that your new timeline is preparing to anchor. You may wake up with a feeling of quiet certainty, even if nothing external has changed. You may feel moments of deep inner peace that last longer than before. You may feel intuitively guided toward decisions that once seemed impossible or too uncertain to consider. These impulses are not impulsive. They are encoded by your future self. The shift you are approaching will require you to trust these impulses above logic, above habit, above fear. Because these impulses come from the version of you already living in your next timeline, when the shift nears, your energy becomes highly sensitive. You begin to notice what aligns with you instantly. You feel the truth of a situation long before you can justify it. You sense the right direction even before you see the path. And this sensitivity is not instability. It is precision. It is your inner guidance becoming sharper. You may also notice a strange sense of acceleration inside you. Time may feel different, either faster or slower. You may feel as if you are moving towards something inevitable, something that has been waiting for you all along. This acceleration is the energetic signature of a timeline snap, the moment your inner frequency becomes so aligned that reality must shift to match it. When this happens, external events may unfold quickly. Opportunities may open without warning. Solutions may appear effortlessly. New directions may become obvious, and areas of your life that once held you back may dissolve with surprising ease. This is not coincidence. It is resonance. It is the universe responding to the coherence you have built within yourself. The universe chose you to see this message before this acceleration intensifies, so you would recognize the shift instead of resisting it. So you would trust the momentum instead of fearing the unknown. So you would embrace the unfolding instead of trying to control it. The truth is that you are not preparing for the shift. You are in the shift. It has already begun. It is happening through your emotions, your perceptions, your intuition, your awareness. And soon it will happen through your external reality as well. The universe is aligning you with your next timeline, and you are closer than you realize. As the shift draws even closer, one final stage begins to activate within you: the stabilization of your new energetic identity. This stabilization happens quietly, almost imperceptibly, but its effects are profound. You may begin to notice that your internal responses to life are changing. Situations that once triggered you now seem distant, as if your emotional body no longer resonates with them. Conversations that once drained your energy no longer hold your attention. Old insecurities rise briefly and then dissolve without the force they once carried. This is not numbness. It is evolution. You are stepping into a version of yourself that no longer vibrates at the frequency of fear, lack, or survival. Your inner landscape is becoming clearer, more spacious, more deliberate. And because of this internal shift, the world around you begins to feel different. You may notice yourself observing more before reacting. You may find comfort in silence rather than distraction. You may feel a growing sense of neutrality in situations that once felt charged or overwhelming. This neutrality is not indifference, it is mastery. It is the emotional anchor of your new timeline locking into place. In this stage, your future self begins communicating with a level of clarity you have never felt before. The guidance becomes more precise, more direct, more embodied. It may feel as if your thoughts are becoming cleaner, your intuition sharper, your inner knowing louder. The universe chose you to receive this message now because this stabilization period is often misunderstood. Many people mistake this inner calm for stagnation, failing to realize it is the final calibration before the external shift manifests physically. You are not slowing down. You are aligning. You are not losing momentum. You are gathering it. You are not becoming passive. You are becoming receptive. And reception is the frequency of manifestation. This stabilization is also preparing you for a new level of responsibility. The shift you are stepping into is not just an upgrade in circumstances. It is an upgrade in identity. It requires you to carry yourself differently, to trust your inner guidance, to move with clarity rather than hesitation. It requires you to operate from the version of you that already knows the way, rather than the version of you that was trying to learn it. This means releasing the habit of outsourcing your validation. It means no longer negotiating with your intuition. It means no longer shrinking to fit spaces you have outgrown. You are stepping into a timeline where your presence carries more weight, where your frequency influences your environment, where your choices shape outcomes with greater precision. Stabilization is the moment your energy becomes unshakably coherent. And once coherence is reached, the universe must respond. What happens next is the final activation. When your energy becomes coherent enough to stabilize, the universe begins the final sequence of the shift: physical alignment. This is the moment when the internal changes you have been experiencing begin crystallizing in your external reality. At first, the changes appear subtle: a conversation that opens an unexpected door, a chance encounter that feels meaningful without explanation, a moment of clarity that leads you to a decision you had been avoiding for months. But soon, these small shifts begin to gain momentum. The external world starts bending around your new vibration. Opportunities emerge not through effort, but through alignment. Solutions unfold not through struggle, but through resonance. Paths appear that you could not see before because your energy was not yet a match for them. You may begin to see a chain of events that feels too precise to be coincidental. A meeting leads to an idea. The idea leads to a direction. The direction leads to an opening, and the opening leads to something that feels like destiny. This unfolding is not luck. It is the natural consequence of your internal frequency, reaching a level of coherence that reality can no longer ignore. This is when your new timeline fully activates. The universe chose you to see this message before this activation, so that you would not mistake this acceleration for chaos. The sudden changes are not instability. They are alignment in motion. You are stepping into a reality that your future self has been preparing for you long before you even knew it existed. And as you cross this threshold, you will feel a profound sense of recognition. Not excitement, not fear, recognition. Because deep down, this is the life you always sensed was waiting for you. This is the version of you that always felt real, but never had solid form until now. This is the timeline where you stop surviving and start living, where you stop doubting and start embodying, where you stop searching and start becoming. The shift is not an external gift. It is the natural result of remembering who you truly are. And now that you have reached this point, your only task is to walk forward with clarity, trust, and presence. Your new reality is not arriving. It is already here. You are the one arriving to meet it. Now that you stand at this threshold, there is one final step to anchor this timeline fully. A symbolic act. A conscious declaration. If you feel the resonance of this moment, if something deep within you recognizes the truth of this transition, then speak it into the field. Go to the comments and write, "I step into the reality that was waiting for me." This is not for the algorithm, it is for your alignment. A ritualistic anchor. A final energetic signature declaring that you accept the shift already underway. The universe has chosen you to awaken now. Step forward. Your new timeline begins the moment you claim it.